Good evening. I call this meeting of the Magnolia Independent School District to order. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present and that this meeting has been duly called and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with Texas Open Meeting Act, Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code Chapter 551. So, if everybody would please stand, Ms. Owens is going to lead us in our invocation.
Good evening. It's been a long-standing tradition here at our school board meeting to say a little prayer. So if you're willing and would like to, please bow your heads and pray. Dear Father God, as we meet together tonight, please just be with us and may we feel your presence. We ask that you continue to bless our Magnolia schools and growing community as we seek your wisdom, guidance, courage, and strength to do what is best in each situation. We also ask that you help guide our students and teachers as we near the end of the school year. Please be present with them as they face the stresses of finals, testing, and looking ahead to summer and even gearing up for next year. We ask for your blessings and favor towards our graduating seniors and parents as they together close out their high school career and look ahead to the next adventure. We also pray for a hedge of protection over our Magnolia families throughout it all. And last but not least, we ask for your continued light and spirit to always shine through in all we do in this great district and the community of Magnolia. We pray all this in your name. Amen.
Yeah. Thank you. So Caitlin and Guadalupe, if you could come up and both lead us in our pledges, that would be wonderful. I guess Caitlin's doing the U.S. pledge, right? Cool.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, ladies. Guadalupe, if you'll have a seat. Caitlin, you can stay up here with us.
Good evening. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Blizzard, Dr. Bullock, and our wonderful MISD School Board. I am honored to present to you our Student of the Month from Magnolia Elementary School, Caitlin McKay. Caitlin is a fourth grader at MES. She is the daughter of Emily and Jonathan McKay. Her siblings are Matthew, Travis, and Aiden McKay. Her grandparents are Daryl and Angie Yates, Cheryl Hansen, Martin and Raquel Thomas. Her family is here to cheer her on this evening. Caitlin is a fantastic student at MES. She has shown huge academic growth this year and continues to impress us with her hard work and positive attitude. She is a great example for other students on our campus. Caitlin is a member of our MES choir and art club. Her favorite subject is math, and she has enjoyed learning all about division this year. When she grows up, she wants to be a veterinarian. One of her favorite memories of this year was at our field day when the girls beat the boys at tug of war. I have a few messages from her teachers. Our MES teacher, Mrs. Wong, writes, Caitlin has been an outstanding student all year. She has demonstrated tremendous growth, both academically and socially. Her strong sense of determination and focus have helped her consistently achieve her goals. Caitlin approaches each day with a positive attitude and leaves a lasting impression on her peers. Her success this year is a testament to the power of hard work and perseverance. Mr. C. writes, Caitlin has been one of those students who is not only a joy to work with, but she makes those around her better with her contagious, positive attitude and enthusiasm towards learning. With an attitude like that, there is no limit to what Caitlin will accomplish in her lifetime. It has been an honor for me to both teach and learn from her. I am so proud of Caitlin. Ms. Dally writes, Caitlin demonstrates dedication and talent, enriching both choir and music class with her positive attitude and musical ability. I have loved being her music teacher this year. And here's a little message from Caitlin's family. Caitlin, we are all so proud of you. We have seen the effort and dedication you have made towards your education and are so excited to see what your future holds. You are such a bright, funny, and kind-hearted young lady, and we all love you tremendously. Congratulations, sweet girl. And Caitlin, we are so proud of you, and we look forward to watching you soar next year at Magnolia Intermediate School. Congratulations on being recognized as our Student of the Month at MES.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Dion Rivera. I'm the principal of Smith Elementary, and I would like to thank the board and Dr. Bullock for giving us this opportunity to present one of our best and brightest. So this is fourth grader Guadalupe Ramirez, and whenever we choose our student of the month, it's really hard to choose just that one student, and so I always interview the finalists. And when I was visiting with Guadalupe, I was just so impressed that she is very self-assured, confident, but also very humble, and that is how her parents described her. So she is joined tonight by several staff members and her brothers and sisters. Her mom is Jocelyn Martinez, her dad is Jose Ramirez, and here is what her parents had to say about her. Guadalupe is constantly demonstrating exceptional performance and behavior. She is very dedicated to her academics, and she's not afraid to undertake any tough task that comes her way. She is very kind to everyone, and she loves to lend a helping hand to anyone in need. And when I asked her teachers to describe her, I actually had to cut down quite a bit what they said. They just went on and on. But what they call her Lupita, but they said that it has been a true privilege to have Guadalupe Ramirez in my classroom this year. She is the kind of student every teacher hopes to have. She's compassionate, respectful, loving, and inspiring to those around her. Guadalupe always shows kindness and mindfulness in everything she does. She treats her peers with genuine respect and warmth, and she goes out of her way to help those who need it most. Her presence in the classroom enriches the learning environment for everyone, fostering a sense of inclusion and support. And as fourth graders, when they start going on their way, Lupita is one who brings everyone back together. Her teacher says she is a natural leader, not by seeking attention, but by setting an example through her actions. Her classmates look up to her, and her positive influence can be felt all around. I am incredibly proud of all that Guadalupe has accomplished and grateful to have been her teacher. She has been a member of our safety patrol. She is a talented artist. You might have seen some of her artwork at our art shows. And she hasn't decided on what college she wants to attend yet. So University of Texas is not too far. Your parents will be happy. But when I asked her, what do you want to be when you grow up? She was like, oh, I want to work at NASA. Like, oh, okay. And she wants to be an engineer for NASA. And I think that is fantastic. And I know that with her incredible work ethic, her positive attitude, and her dynamic people skills, there are no limits to what she will accomplish in her future. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, Guadalupe Ramirez.
Y'all come back up here. I promised we'd keep bragging about you. Congratulations. Congratulations. So we've got two fourth graders tonight. They're both graduating to go to another school. Wow. Well, we're so grateful that you're here with us. And I don't know if you know this, but every month we do this with one student from each campus. And so you represent your campus. You're sort of setting the example for your campus. So you're in thin air. It's an awesome accomplishment. We thank you for being here with us. We love to see you guys and watch you. And the good news is, with your fourth graders, we'll get to see them again, probably before they graduate. So congratulations to you guys. We want to thank America's ER. We want to thank America's ER for their contribution toward their Student of the Month award. So, thank you. Nice job, young ladies. Let's give them another hand. Okay, as you know, every year we get to elect new school board members. And it goes in batches, 3 1 year, 3 1 year, 4 1 year. That kind of, I didn't do the math right. 3 1 year, 2 1 year, 2 1 year, 3 2 2. See, we got a big board. So I'm happy to report we didn't have anybody sign up to run against myself, Dasha, or Sonia. So we were able to cancel the election, which saves a lot of money for the district for us to do that. So at this time, we need a motion to certify that the candidates for the 2025 school board trustee election and declare the election official as follows. So position 1 is Dasha Owens, elected for a 3-year term to expire in 2028. Position 2, Jordan Blake. That's not true. Position 2 is Sonia Ebel, elected for a 3-year term to expire in 2028, and myself, elected for a 3-year term to expire in 2028. All that without an election. So we need a motion. David, motion, seconded by Jordan. All right, all in favor? That could be trouble if we don't all raise our hands here. Okay, so I think Ms. Hinkleman is now got to do the honors of swearing us in, I believe.
Do any of y'all have any family members with you tonight? Okay. Do you, Gary Blizzard, Sonia Ebel, and Dasha Owens, solemnly swear or affirm that you will faithfully execute the duties of the office of trustee of the Magnolia Independent School District in Montgomery County of the state of Texas, and will, to the best of your ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and the law of the United States and of this state, so help you God?
I will.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now that we got the right number of board members and the right members sworn in, we'll carry on. Thank you. Dr. Garza, you're up next.
All right, good evening. Dr. Bullock, Mr. Blizzard, members of the board. It is my pleasure to present the May Teachers of the Month. And so this month we actually have 2 winners because they were just named our Teachers of the Year for elementary and secondary. So our first winner is Ms. Angela Lagunas from Nicholas Psalm Elementary. She is in her 12th year of teaching and her 5th year in MISD. I think she spent the previous 4 years at MES, is that correct? Yeah. This is her first year at Nicholas Sawmill, and she is a reading interventionist, which means she works with our struggling readers. And so her application that she wrote was actually very impressive. She wrote down that one of her biggest things is trying to reach students on a very personal level, and that her name on campus is Miss Heart of Gold. So for students that are struggling readers, that's probably quite the impression. So Ms. Lagunas, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Blizzard, Dr. Bullock, and members of the board for the opportunity to recognize not only students but teachers in our district. It's my honor to recognize Ms. Lagunas as Teacher of the Month. She is joined here tonight by her children, Reagan and Carson, along with the cheering section of NSC, teachers and staff whose lives she's impacted this year. Angie joined Nichols Sawmill Elementary this year and has quickly become a cornerstone of our campus, from mentoring teachers across grade levels to transforming student outcomes in reading. Her impact is undeniable. Her leadership, generosity, and unwavering commitment to students and staff have elevated our entire school. She doesn't just teach, she inspires, uplifts, and leads by example every single day. Congratulations, Ms. Lagunas. This is a very well-deserved honor.
All right, and our second winner is Mr. David Youngblood from Magnolia High School. He teaches dual credit for us for juniors and seniors. He's a 1987 Texas A&M grad, nicely done there. And he's a leader on campus. He's a part of the Guiding Coalition. And I know Mr. Quinn has raved about this guy for several years. So, Mr. Youngblood, thank you so much for what you do for us.
Thank you, Dr. Garza. All right, so you don't know I'm a crier. This cat right here, I'm going to be short, because if I start talking too long, especially in my last board meeting, man, oh man. I will tell you this, David and I have worked together for 25 years, and it is a blessing and an honor to call him a coworker. Amazing, amazing, amazing guy. So amazing that in the past 6 weeks, he's come by weekly just to check on me, just to make sure in these last several weeks of my tenure and my career that I'm doing okay, right? That's the type of guy he is. It is a presentation on Thursday of last week that talked about his Tuesday, Teacher Bag Tuesday with all of our students that ride the bus to the elementary school, right? Y'all, the things that this guy does are too many to number. And if you know him, or your children have had him, and maybe you didn't know it was Mr. Youngblood, right? Maybe you just heard YB, right? Because that's who he is. He's YB. Phenomenal, phenomenal man. One of the greatest opportunities for me tonight to recognize him as a Teacher of the Month and be a part of him being selected as the District Teacher of the Month. Could not have chosen a better guy. Thank you, Dr. Garza. Thank you, Dr. Bullock, Mr. Blizzard.
Young Youngblood, or YB, as he is affectionately known here, is absolutely one of a kind. Sharp, dependable, and endlessly caring about all people in his world: students, teachers, principals, and all staff.
Mr. Youngblood has a true passion for kids and making an impact on those around him.
He brings a rare combination of professionalism, heart, and passion to everything he does. Whether leading, supporting, or stepping up in the moment, David consistently makes the people and work around him better. He is always looking to get better and help those around him do the same. The eagerness with which he seeks out new ideas and approaches to help his students would make people believe he was new to the teaching game, not 35 plus years in. Simply put, he's the kind of person every team hopes to have and makes Magnolia High School better every day. We are thankful YB is a Magnolia Bulldog.
Beyond her excellence in the classroom, she's also a driving force of the school's culture. She is visible every morning with kids, greeting them in the car rider line, and she has a positive yes I can attitude, which is felt by everyone on our campus. Her work ethic and dedication to both students and staff have made her a cornerstone of our school community.
So as they're heading back to their seats, I just want to say, Ms. Lagunas, Mr. Youngblood, thank you. You guys are making a huge difference, and it is a really, really big deal to be named a district-wide Teacher of the Year. And guys, you just heard from our elementary Teacher of the Year and our secondary Teacher of the Year, who are making such a huge difference in everything they do. They're an example to their colleagues. They lift the spirits of kids every day. They make their principals' jobs so much easier, and they're just an inspiration. So I want both of you to know we see what you do, and this is just a small way for us to celebrate you guys and say thank you. And the impact you have, it's not just this year thing. It's something that's been going on here for a while, and we know is going to continue into the future. So thank you for choosing to be here with our kids in Magnolia ISD, and congratulations.
Yes, we appreciate y'all. Thank you very much for everything you do. Okay, Ms. Myers, I think you're next.
Okay, good evening, Board, Mr. Blizzard, Dr. Bullock. Thank you for the opportunity to introduce our Facility Planning Committee, which has worked hard this spring semester. I would like to introduce and thank the committee members who are here tonight. If y'all would all stand and be recognized for your work. I would also like to recognize Charles Johnson, who is a principal at VLK, for his team's work, and Todd Lean, who is also here with us tonight. Y'all would wave. And thank you to Keisha Black and Rachel Irvin for their commitment as Facility Planning Committee members and for presenting the committee's findings tonight. The process for this group was intentional, and each meeting was structured to allow for feedback, questions, and eventually to reach a consensus. It was important to give each member an opportunity to ask questions, submit questions to the parking lot, get those answered, and email the answers back to the committee. Each member could voice their opinion at the table and discuss the topic. This allowed for honesty and brought comfort to the table conversations. As new topics were introduced, the committee worked through each zone through the decision-making process. This process shows the power of building a community that comes together to reach a consensus. We would also like to recognize some folks for their service and their commitment to the process. We want to thank our senior leadership team for their commitment and being table facilitators. And now I would like to introduce Keisha Black and Rachel Irvin to present the committee's findings.
Hello, my name is Rachel Irvin, and I'm honored to have been part of the Facility Planning Committee. I'm proud to have called Magnolia home for the last 4 years, and as a parent of young children living in the district, it's important that our schools remain safe, successful, and competitive so that our kids can thrive. Thank you to the school board for giving members of the community the opportunity to collaborate on the direction our school is heading. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to voice our concerns and opinions, and to the facilitators of our committee who were able to provide feedback and reasoning when questions arose. After each meeting, the excitement in the room for the future of our district was palpable.
And again, thank you to the board and Dr. Bullock for this opportunity for not only our community voices to come, but making us have a big role in the process as we continue to help build our vision for our district and our students. And as we know, we're growing, so continue to see that vision and being a part of that for our small town community feel. All right. All right. All right, with that, we were able to have an opportunity to introduce some of our planning committee members. We had 42 members in here. I know we already stood, so if you were a part of our 4-month process, please give us another wave in the hands, in the air, please. There we go. I remember some in the back as well. I see you back there. So like we said, on the times together, where 42 members came together, consisted of approximately 7 to 8 participants per table. We were able to talk about all the things in our community where we had a cross-section of the community leaders, of parents, as you can see, business leaders, civic leaders, educators, administrators, volunteers, community members, and alumni. And that's just some of the hard work we did to come with the consensus today.
So we ended up meeting 6 times over the spring semester, and at each meeting, experts were brought in to present all the important factors to be taken into consideration when calling for a bond. The first meeting was our introductory meeting. Dr. Bullock gave a state of the district overview. As most of you know, roughly 80% of districts across the state of Texas are operating on a deficit budget, and Magnolia is one of the 20% operating on a balanced budget. We've been fortunate enough to pay off our debts, our bonds early, and the district has been very conservative on what they've asked of our taxpayers. Our board president, also Mr. Blizzard, addressed the committee. He charged us with keeping the success of students as our motivating factor when making decisions within our community. At the second meeting, we learned about the overall process moving forward and received reports from demographic expert Bob Templeton. Our key takeaways from this presentation were that Magnolia ISD's current enrollment is approximately 15,000 students, and we are forecasted to enroll over 18,000 in the next 5 years. Audubon and Williams Elementary Schools will approach and exceed capacity within the next 2 to 4 years. Magnolia West High School will exceed capacity in the next 2 years. Dr. Morris gave us a brief lesson on how school finances work. He stated that our tax rate is currently the 0.9595, which is the 3rd lowest in the Houston area, and one of only 3 districts in the area underneath $1. So again, we're doing really great things with our finances, maintaining a balanced budget and having a low tax rate. During the third meeting, we received a facility needs assessment with priorities, learned about capital projects, the status of our buses, and land acquisition. For meeting 4, the district brought in Mr. Jonda to help us understand what our bonding capacity is for the district. So our district has done a wonderful job at paying off debts early. So the biggest takeaway was that because of our strong financial standings, Magnolia ISD has the ability to safely call for a bond package as high as $650 million without changing the current tax rate. At meeting number 5, VLK Architects went through the options of high schools to consider, a breakdown of the facility upgrades listed by priority, breakout athletics projects, and natatorium options to consider. We were able to analyze the data and take into the consideration the needs of our district. We left the meeting with enough information to consider what projects would best benefit our district. So at that final meeting, the committee voted on the projects to recommend to be put on the November ballot. So this is going to be the bond package that we have recommended. I've got to read through each one of these items. Please keep in mind that these costs are the final project costs. They are not just the construction costs, it's the entire cost. So high school number 3 would cost $295 million. Elementary school number 10 would cost $50.4 million. To purchase buses would cost $12.5 million. District-wide safety and security would cost $5 million. Land acquisition would cost $15 million. Facility upgrades categorized as priority 1 would total $27 million. Elementary school number 11 would cost $53.9 million. Facility upgrades categorized as priority number 2 would total $20 million. The covered multi-purpose facilities at each high school number 3, Magnolia High School and Magnolia West would combine for a total of $12 million. Upgrading baseball and softball fields to turf at Magnolia High School and Magnolia West High School would cost $8.2 million. Upgrading baseball and softball seating at Magnolia High School and Magnolia West would cost $1.8 million. Adding lighting to the tennis courts at Magnolia High School and Magnolia West would cost $780,000. Building a second district natatorium would cost $24.4 million. And that would make the total of this bond package $527,034,839. So again, this is a reminder that our district actually has the capacity to approve as much as $650 million without changing our current tax rate. At that point, once we developed our package to present, we went through a SWOT analysis to take further ownership of what we're presenting to you today. This just helped us take ownership of what we wanted to present. And so then we have our timeline of important dates. So we are presenting this information tonight. On August 18th, that would be the last day to call for a bond. And then we'd be able to work with the district to present bond facts between that August 19th through Election Day, November 4th. So at this time, the Magnolia ISD Facility Planning Committee recommends the Magnolia ISD Board of Trustees consider and call a bond election for November 4th, 2025. So the biggest question is why? Why for our committee? Why for our school staff? Why for the families? Why for our entire community is really the success of our children. Students thrive when they feel safe and when they feel seen. Every student would be positively impacted by this bond through campus maintenance and renovations, through transportation upgrades. The addition of new campuses will help keep our campus sizes at a number that helps maintain the small town feel, which helps our children to be in an environment where they can learn and feel supported. And so at this time, we'd like to open any questions to the board.
Are you going to be asking us to vote on this tonight?
No, sir. Forgive me. You guys do not have to make that decision until August 18th, but we are just opening the opportunity for questions.
Yeah, fair enough. So in the estimates you guys did for new high school and quote-unquote small town feel, is there a concept that we would reduce high schools to 5A?
Correct. Yes, that's the goal, is to keep our high schools at 5A.
To get them back to 5A?
To get them back to 5A, yes, sir. This is our first year at 6, correct.
Okay, thanks.
Absolutely.
I have a question. So the high school, the elementaries, just for sheer growth, I think, we all know that needs to happen, but was there any item that's on here in the package or couple that just kind of rose really high, right, as a group, that you felt like overall it was just everybody was super excited?
And so new campuses are always very exciting, especially as we see all the growth that is going on in this area. But then what I really appreciated is that not only would we be adding new campuses, we'd be taking care of the current facilities that we have. And so there's several schools that need new roofs. They're 20 to 25-year-old roofs in our district. We have over 65 buses that are at least 15 years old. And that's an alarming for safety reasons, right? So taking care of what we have, replacing the old, would really benefit our district.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.
With all the growth coming to the area, I know you all have worked very hard on this. I just wanted to compliment you on taking the time. It's a lot of meetings and a lot of effort to come up with a presentation, so I appreciate that, because I know there's so much growth coming, so thank you all.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, guys.
I'd just like to say thank you to the committee, for me and our senior leadership team, Ms. Hinkleman, for us to get to spend time with you guys has been very valuable for us. We told you guys from the beginning, it's your school district. They're your kids. It's your money. We want to listen to you and have you tell us what you think are the right steps going forward. And I appreciate all the time you guys spent to help us come to a consensus and figure out the right recommendation to bring to these guys, who then will, have the opportunity to make some decisions through the lens they see as elected representatives of our community of, what steps may come next. But I think you guys did a really good job. And we actually enjoyed spending time with y'all, believe it or not. When you look at this bunch, it might be questionable on a few of them, but and you know who you are, you can raise your hand. But no, it was a good crowd, and the thing that I really appreciate about it is it was a really good cross-section of our community. Several different demographics, age groups, people who have kids in the schools, people who do not, people who are civic leaders, business owners. I felt like we heard a good voice from our community. So thank you guys for your time and effort. We certainly appreciate it. I think one of the things to call attention to too is, from this point, for you guys to start to think about decision process and what may come next for y'all making a decision is, at some point we would look at where these things would fall on ballot propositions. And what I know is you would not see all of these things on just one proposition, up or down. We would rely on bond counsel to advise us of how legally we're required to set that up. But I do know some of these things would be separate voted items, probably separate from the campuses and a couple of the priority maintenance items and land and whatnot. So we'll kind of see where that goes from here. But guys, from my end, thank you very much for your time, and really enjoyed hearing the opinions of everybody in the room.
Yes, thank you so much. I'll echo what these guys have said in a little different way. You know, just like these great students that we had, Student of the Month, this is all about the kids. Just like we had the great Students of the Month, we depend on vested parents to help give the kids good education. We depend, just like that, we depend on a vested community to help us do what we do. We can't do this in a vacuum. We can't do it without you. Like Sonia said, it's a lot of time. We appreciate that. It was a few nights. I got to be there a couple of nights with you. It's a few nights you'd probably rather been doing something else. So thank you.
And I do want to say, too, for those of you who are just kind of hearing this, there are things that this committee said no to. That this committee said, no, this is not what we need to do right now, or this is not a good use of our taxpayer dollars. So I appreciate you guys trying to keep, at the center of the decisions you're making as well, that we want to be good stewards of the taxpayer dollars. So thank you again.
Okay, Captain Swanson.
As he's making his way, Dr. Bullock, Mr. Blizzard, members of the board, Captain Swanson is going to come up here and tell about this amazing group of young folks in ROTC and another accomplishment they have received. But I need to make sure that I point out on behalf of Mr. Morley and myself that Captain Swanson, Master Sergeant Dupart, and Petty Officer Roby, none of these accomplishments occur without their guidance and their leadership. So I just want to say from us, thank you guys for taking this group to the next level because it's an amazing accomplishment. I'm going to let you give details about that, but I couldn't go without recognizing you publicly.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about what actually, it's a repeat performance of what I was here in August to recognize for. And I'd first like to get the outgoing staff, which are our seniors, the class of 2025. If you guys would come up and join me on the right. From front to back, that's our outgoing outgoing CO, Jacob Wymore, Erica Sherrod, Miriam Hill, and Josue Machuca, our supply officer. Class of 2026 staff, come forward, please. So what I'm going to talk about briefly is it. Okay, so from fore to aft there, the battalion commander, new battalion commander, Tyson Goldsby. The XO, Trace Bauer, and our operations officer, and also the West Company commander, Ina Rodriguez. Okay, so the award that we've earned now for the second year in a row is called the Distinguished Unit. That comes with a couple of other things on it because it's a measure. The competitive cycle begins April 1st to ends the 31st of March. It goes the entire year. That burden was primarily carried by the class of 2026. With that, we were also awarded a distinguished unit with academic honors. That is like the top 20% of units in the nation. It gives us some special privileges, which I won't go into here. But it also earned us the top unit in Area 17, which is the geographic area that our unit belongs to. As that, we compete against 23 others for the top unit in the nation. That's about the top 4% of the units in the country. But Navy GROTC. Without going into too much detail, the competition covers about 4 areas, 3 of which the cadets can control or contribute to, and 1 they cannot, which is discretionary from the area manager and his judgment. First thing that the area is academics and professional development, or essentially, what are they here for? They're here how they perform in school outside of ROTC, and then the maturity, growth, and development of leadership within the unit. Sorry about that. Okay. SAT results, scholarships earned, National Honor Society, honor roll, a whole bunch of stuff go into that. The second thing the second area that they focus on is citizenship. And that is essentially stuff that we do where we are not the benefactors of the cadets' effort. Since they do not pay taxes for the most part, they do not vote, and that they really can't join the military. This is the way that they give back to the community and serve the greater good. Community service, school support, hosting events and stuff like that, stuff that they, like I said, they're not really the benefactor. The last part that they compete in that we really excelled in this year was unit participation. These are all our competitive teams, and the competitive teams this year, for the first time, qualified for 3 national competitions: 1 in marksmanship, 1 in orienteering, and 1 in drill, which Magnolia has never represented in any of those. So this is all built. I know I'm going to say it. I said it at our award ceremony. The class of 2025 saw an opportunity that was given to them by the class of 2024 and in early 2024. They picked up the load and they carried this unit on their back through the rest of 2024 and then on through 2025. I'm immensely proud of what rising seniors can do, and then how they conducted themselves, leading teams, leading the battalion with all these new things coming up, learning from setbacks, disappointments, and pushing on. The class of 2025 has established a high watermark for Magnolia and ROTC, and I'm immensely proud of them. And I won't speak for myself. I also said my two comrades in arms over there, Master Sergeant Dupart and Petty Officer Roby, too. Okay. I think that's about all that I want to say. What? Yeah, I do want to say one other thing. I want to say it publicly. This is Principal Quinn's last board meeting, and I want to thank him for his hiring decision to put me in place to be part of this effort that is putting Magnolia and ROTC on the map and on a trajectory that's that already we're starting to gain a lot of attention. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have that opportunity to hire my two comrades in arms who are really the genius of this. I'm really just kind of supporting them and driving the bus, and then producing young men and women like you see to my right. So, thank you, sir.
Wow, what a bunch of fine, disciplined young men and women. That's impressive. Thank you, guys. Dr. Campbell.
Mr. Blizzard, Dr. Bullard, and the school board. It's an honor to be here tonight. I asked these two young ladies to march up here like they just did, but they wouldn't do it. Today I have the honor of presenting to you two students, Aurora Hernandez and Dahana Mendez. They're students at Magnolia West High School, and they are in our health science department and are in the EMT program. They recently had an opportunity to compete at district and then won the honor to go to state, at which they were the champs. They were the champs in EMT, or emergency medical technician, and now they have the honor of going to nationals this summer, going to Atlanta to compete for the national title. In addition to the hardware that they brought home, each student received a $10,000 scholarship. And so we're extremely proud of them. This summer they'll be traveling with Miss Jerica Norwood, and we've notified the governor of Georgia that this is happening, just in case. She's the health science teacher at Magnolia West, and for those of you that don't know, because of the cost of some of the programs, we have like for instance, our Magnolia High School students in automotive travel to Magnolia West because we have one automotive teacher. And at Magnolia West, those students travel to Magnolia High for the EMT program. And so they come across the way. So their teacher at Magnolia High School is Miss Natalie Henson, and she's here today as well. And Aurora will be attending Lone Star College to study biology and pre-med. And then Dahana will be attending Texas A&M University. Woo! Right, I knew to pause. To study biomedicine and pre-medicine. And so I've got some exciting news that today, this very day, Dahana took her National Registry exam, which is one of the hardest exams in the nation to become an EMT. To get there, she went the wrong way, so she had to speed. So Mr. Bullock, Dr. Bullock, I'm proud to announce that she passed her EMT National Registry, but she broke the law on the way. So let's give her a big round of applause. I also want to thank Mr. Morley and Mr. Quinn for supporting the CMT program and our health science. And I thought on the way up here, I thought, she's certified now, so if any of you have an owie at the break or need a hip put back in place, come on over and see us. That'll be good practice for her national exam. But we do want to wish both students well on their national competition and send all our best wishes to them as they navigate this next part of their life when they graduate. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me honoring Aurora and Dahana.
Way to go, ladies. We appreciate that. That's awesome. And that's what defensive driving's for, Dr. Campbell. All right, Ms. Henry, you're up next.
Good evening, Mr. Blizzard, members of the board, Dr. Bullock. It is my honor to be here tonight. My name is Becca Henry, and I am the president of Magnolia Education Foundation. Tonight, I want to take a moment to recognize two incredibly generous members of our community, Mr. Avon and Tracy McBride. Avon and Tracy are the proud owners of American Communications Construction and Aloha Beauty Lounge in Tomball. They recently attended our Magnolia Education Foundation's Magnolia Roots concert and fundraiser as platinum sponsors. During this event, the McBrides were so impressed with the talent of our student performers, they made a surprise gesture by donating $5,000 scholarships to each of our 9 student performers. The total of $45,000. This total of $45,000 is an incredible way to show support of our young artists and their futures. This generosity reflects a deep commitment to celebrate student talent and investing in the next generation. The surprises did not stop there that night. I am also thrilled to share some incredible news that in celebration of our 25th anniversary, that's this year, the McBride family have made a generous donation totaling $250,000 to the Magnolia Education Foundation. We are beyond grateful for this donation that will be spent on continuing education for Magnolia ISD staff and students. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Avon and Tracy McBride.
Thank y'all. And thank everybody up here for having us tonight. We appreciate it. And
No, thank you. I think it's
and thank you to each one of those students. You know, I mean, it was truly amazing what y'all did that night to bring us all together. You know, sitting out there and, you know, standing up here in front of just a small crowd, and these students were up here on a big stage, singing their hearts out, playing instruments to a crowd, and they're just mingling. Don't know how many of them were paying attention to them, but I just sat there amazed, you know. So thank you. Thank you to the EMT personnel. Y'all are amazing, amazing. To our ROTC, you know, I mean, it's just, it's amazing what y'all have going on here in Magnolia, you know. And, you know, we just want to say thank y'all for letting us be a part of it, and we'll continue to be a part of it. As y'all heard, my wife owns a beauty lounge in Tomball, and I own a construction company. So we did a lot of work up here in the Magnolia area for Comcast, you know, and in Montgomery County, Magnolia. And so we wanted to find a way to give back and support y'all the way that y'all supported us. So we just wanted to say thank you.
I'm going to go ahead and call our 9 student performers up. Students, whenever I call your name, if you can please come up here. Parents, we will be taking pictures at the end off to the side. Isabella Berkelbach. Kellen Cruz. Here, Bella, you take yours and go stand over here. Trent Ford. Connor Katzenberger. Titus Petty. Arli Petty. Jaden Phillips. Erica Sherrod. Tyler Stewart. If we can, please give our amazing student performers one round of applause, and for Mr. and Mrs. McBride for their generous donations.
So while everybody's still up here, before y'all wander off, I want to say congratulations to our student performers. Thank you to MEF for putting on a great event. For our student performers, it takes guts to get up there. And to Mr. and Mrs. McBride, thank you all very much. We appreciate you caring about kids and appreciate you supporting the things we're trying to do. Thank you so much. Thank you for your generosity.
Okay, while they're taking photos over here, we're going to go to a short break, but we invite you to come back for the business part of the meeting if you so desire. If you don't, it's a good opportunity to do whatever you want to do. Thank you. Okay, we're back. Thank you. I told Dr. Bullock we're going to have to get rid of all those seats in the back. Okay, Ms. Hinkleman, we got anybody signed up to speak? Okay, thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to our consent agenda. This portion of the agenda consists of items to be routine and enacted by one motion unless we need separate discussion. So do we need separate discussion or questions? Has everybody read it? Good with it? All right. If there are any questions, we need a motion to approve consent agenda items A through E. Stacy motions, David second. All in favor? All right, that motion passes. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Bruner, I think you're next.
Well, good evening, Board. Tonight I have a couple of items I need to get you to look at with me. The first one starts off with the issue of the intersection between this campus and the new junior campus. So as we were talking about earlier tonight, what we had to do is we basically had to submit to TxDOT for a permit for the driveway, and upon completion of that, then we were able to utilize the same permit. We had to design the intersection and, of course, construct it. And so we've been waiting on approval of that design, which was done by Kowals Consulting. And that design has been approved, but in order to proceed, we need to sign off on an agreement with TxDOT. And so our attorney had some changes to the language, but TxDOT doesn't necessarily allow you to change the agreement document. But they will allow you to put the language into a resolution, approve the resolution, which is what I'm asking you to do tonight. Then we submit the resolution to TxDOT, and they will incorporate it as an attachment to the agreement. So that's what I'm doing tonight. I'm asking you to approve the resolution authorizing execution of the agreement between Magnolia ISD and the state of Texas via TxDOT for construction of the roadway improvements along FM 1488, or in other words, the intersection between this campus and the new junior high campus.
So, Mr. Bruner, you're saying that TxDOT is very easy to work with?
I was going to say, is that clear as mud? I mean,
just checking.
Yeah, it's been a process. But once we do this, we'll be able to release the contractor that's going to be doing the work with an anticipated goal of getting started right away and completing hopefully by very early July.
Does this mean they're going to rebuild that intersection one more time?
We're going to rebuild it.
Fascinating.
Yes, sir.
Sounds efficient.
Tim, what kind of time frame is that project going to take?
again, if we pass this resolution tonight, we submit it to TxDOT, they've approved our plans. We've already hired the contractor, and we've already ordered, the long lead items. So we're going to get started right away, hopefully, again, to complete early July. July 1, that's our goal. I know that's cutting it close in my book, but we should be okay, yeah.
So you think TxDOT, I mean, obviously I didn't ask you if they could have taken a little bit longer, but you don't think that that'll be a risk, put us at risk? They'll drag their feet. I know you're ready, they may not be.
Well, no, this is essentially the last step. They approved the design. That was sort of the biggest deal. And so they basically authorized us to move forward as soon as we sign this agreement. But again, to sign this agreement, we wanted our attorney to review it. And once that happened, then we really needed, because of the way TxDOT set it up, we needed to provide this resolution approved by you guys.
Right. Anybody got any questions? Okay. If we don't have any questions, we need a motion to approve the resolution authorizing execution of an agreement between Magnolia ISD and the state of Texas, acting through the Texas Department of Transportation for the construction of roadway improvements along FM 1488 at Magnolia Parkway Junior High. Motion by Dasha, seconded by Sonia. All in favor? Well, that motion passes. Thank you, sir. Carry on.
The next item is a bit of some really good news, and that's that we're coming to you tonight asking you to approve a final change order on the guaranteed maximum price of Magnolia Parkway Intermediate School. And again, some of the folks at PBK Architects, this says a lot about the team that we had. PBK Architects, Stewart Builders, and Magnolia ISD came together to get this done. But we essentially, there were a lot of things that we incorporated into the guaranteed maximum price that we were planning that we may need when it came to that intermediate. Things like dewatering of the soil, and we weren't sure exactly if we were going to get that Second Street entrance, and so we had sort of a plan B was to redesign the main entrance. We didn't have to spend those funds. And so at the end of the day, we have a savings of about $5.9 million over that guaranteed maximum price. So what we're asking you tonight is to approve the change order to decrease the GMP for Magnolia Parkway Intermediate by $5,929,975 for a total final price of $41,652,996. Any questions on that?
Well, it seems like you've broken some kind of record giving back $6 million off of something like this.
It's the most we've ever had come back on one project.
Yeah. Any questions? I can't, huh?
I like it, under budget.
Yeah.
And again, there were just a lot of contingencies that we had built into the GMP, and then, of course, Stewart Builders did a fantastic job of, that's one of the beauties of the CM at risk process, is that the money's pretty much on the table. So we get to kind of work on this together. And, it's been a great process with Stewart Builders to just sit down and go through the dollars that we have built into the GMP, and at the end of the day, we didn't spend it all, and so they're giving it back to us. It's our money.
It's our money. How did it break out as far as cost of construction coming down a little bit from when we first bid this project during the peak of COVID pricing, and where we finished versus stuff that we just kind of changed that ended up being a little more efficient, on the economics? Was it some of it just deflationary process and construction materials, or was it a mix of stuff?
So sometimes timing is your best friend. And in this case, it was for us. We had actually had looked at the potential increase of cost, and the inflation was pretty strong back then on construction, and we had factored in a little extra money with anticipation of the the trends to continue to go up. It just so happened to flatten at that time. And I'll also go back to the point that I've made on a number of occasions, is that we were quick to get this project to market. Okay, that goes back to doing the design, a lot of the legwork, the programming and the original design before the bond even passed. And that was due to, you guys allowing us to spend a little extra money at that time to do that of course we reimbursed. But that gave us a head start, and we hit the market quicker than a lot of other projects did. And I think that helped us hit sort of a flat spot in construction costs. And so we and then you turn around and we put, again, a lot of contingencies into this that we didn't have to use. And so the cost came down considerably, and I think we had anticipated around $350 a square foot, and this is going to land somewhere around $308, which is pretty good.
That was a good job. Thank you. Congratulations on that project. Or these couple of projects we're looking at that are just finishing up this year. It's amazing.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Yeah, Tim, I just want to say job well done, as always. The way you lead projects like this, the kind of building that we end up with, how things come down with the bottom line and the finances. Appreciate your leadership. Stewart Builders, PBK, thank you guys very much. Appreciate y'all's part in these projects as well. And, the partnership that we've had with y'all. And I think this project is another one that is finished up very strongly. So thank you to all involved.
Thank you.
Takes a team. We appreciate it.
Okay.
Okay, if there's no other question, we need a motion to approve a final change order to decrease the GMP for Magnolia Parkway Intermediate School by $5,929,975 for a total price of construction to be $41,652,996. Need a motion for that, Jordan? Seconded by David. All in favor? That motion passes. Thank you, Tim. All right, Dr. Morris.
Thank you, sir. Good evening. Before we move to my item, I'd like to say that my favorite thing about that last item was the fact that we get to discuss that in open session as the finance guy, jokingly, of course. Sorry. Everyone gets to hear. So, sorry, it was an attempt at humor, and it was a bad one. All right. So tonight, guys, we have a thrilling policy update for you. Normally, this would be Dr. King's area, but because it's squarely in my lane, I wanted to go over it with you quickly. So from time to time, the Governmental Accounting Standards Board, known as GASB, who is responsible for establishing accounting and financial reporting standards for U.S. State and local governments, will issue updates that are either required or allowed for consideration. Okay? So tonight, there is an update that they've allowed for local governments to take advantage of. However, it requires an adjustment to one of our local board policies to be able to take advantage of it. Okay, so I'll give you a little history. Purchases for goods and services that exceed an established threshold are required to be capitalized by school districts, which in short means they have to be accounted for separately than other assets, and they have to be depreciated based on anticipated useful life expectancy. So since GASB 34 was enacted back in 1999, that threshold has been $5,000. So every item that we've purchased that exceeds $5,000 on a per good item basis has required us to account for those separately and depreciate those. So what the updated GASB has allowed for is an increase in that capital outlay threshold up to $10,000. So obviously over the past 25 years, the cost of goods and services has gone up substantially. You can't, the things that you used to be able to buy for $5,000, you can no longer buy for that amount. So selfishly, from the business office perspective, allowing this increase makes life easier for our accountants. It means that we do not have to separate them to account for them separately for anything under $10,000. And it also does not affect our bottom line. Our assets stay the same. We still have the same inventory tracking, local approach, and things of that nature. So there's really, there's nothing negative about increasing this, but it does take board approval to change the policy for us to enact this. And in most cases, you guys would see, an update and then be able to vote on it the next month. But it's important that if we're going to have this go into effect this next fiscal year, that it goes into effect by July 1. Which is when our federal programs, many of those program years begin. So if we did not get this done before then, we would have to wait another year. So again, or otherwise get it done and have to treat different assets differently based on the source of funding, which you do not want to do. So again, it's pretty simple. Our recommendation is to change to allow for the policy revision update to the policy before you as recommended or presented, excuse me.
So with the depreciation of assets for a nonprofit government agency, what's the value in the accounting process of depreciating stuff?
Well, it goes towards your net position. I mean, it's used for that. And again, prior to GASB 34 that came out in 99, Mr. Michaels, governmental entities did not have to account for depreciation. So it was something that was established in 99. It actually did not go into effect until 2001, even though the GASB was in 99. So most school districts enacted it in 01. I think it's intended to better align governmental accounting with corporate accounning.
Fair, but it doesn't. There's no value added up
No,
with
there's
dollars
not.
and tax savings or anything like that.
No, it's additional effort by the school district accounting department. Yes,
okay.
sir.
Got it.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
And it's kind of hard to create useful life expectancy for some items that are $6,000 as well. So, yeah, I mean maybe a large tuba or something. I don't know.
Everybody good? All right, so if there aren't any questions, we need a motion that the board approve a policy revision CFB local as presented by Dr. Morris. Motion by Dasha, seconded by David. All in favor? Motion passes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, I think we got a tag team, Dr. Garza and Dr. King, right?
All right, good evening again. Okay, so tonight, Dr. King and I are going to present some possible changes to EIC local, which is our current class rank policy. All right. So before we get into that, I want to talk about kind of what our current policy is and then go into the proposed changes. Dr. King will then talk about what that policy might look like in terms of board language for your review. All right. So current policy. Our current system consists of, we have two different GPA systems. We have a GPA system that includes overall GPA, which that includes any course a student takes during their high school career for a credit. And that can include courses such as virtual courses, summer courses, courses in a regular school day, et cetera. So that's any course that a student takes counts towards their overall GPA. There's another system called ranking GPA, and this is where the state asks us to develop a system where we identify the top ranking graduate in the graduating class as well as the top 10%. So we have flexibility in that process, and that's where EIC local comes into play. All right. So our current system, which I'll get into in detail in just a few minutes, but briefly, it has a 6.0 scale and a 5.0 scale, and certain courses are designated as honors, certain courses are designated as regular. All right, and so through that process, we determine a top 10% and a highest ranking graduate. So our current policy has been in place since 2013. And throughout that process, we've had some concerns over the last 12 years that the policy is outdated, that a lot of parents have been concerned that dual credit courses do not count towards ranking GPA, and that that including almost all the courses in ranking GPA, it often discourages students from taking courses they might be interested in because it might negatively impact their ranking GPA. All right. So with that in mind, we set out a thought exchange recently. And we want to get input from all of our current high school and junior high parents about what possible changes they would like to see in the ranking GPA process. And so the responses we got were pretty much what we expected, but the top 3 thoughts were actually quite interesting. That our parents do want us to have a system that includes dual credit towards ranking GPA. They do want us to develop a system that provides more weight to the most rigorous courses. And they do want us to develop a system that is easy to understand, which currently it's not the easiest to understand. Okay. Any questions on that? So our current policy works like this. So all of our classes that a student takes during the regular school session, with a few exceptions, count towards their ranking GPA. So the regular school session is defined as courses taken during the regular school day during the fall and spring semester. So because it's during the regular school day of fall and spring semester, that excludes your summer schools, your virtual classes, correspondence courses, classes like that. All right? It also excludes currently student aid courses and dual credit. So none of the courses in those categories count toward a student's ranking GPA. All right? Now, the courses that do count towards a ranking GPA are put into two different categories. First, there's honors classes, and they are on a 6.0 scale, and that's all of our eligible AP, IB, advanced courses. All right? And then our second category is our regular courses. Those are on a 5.0 scale, and that basically includes every other course that we have. So courses are either one or the other. They're either regular or they're honors. Oh, did y'all not have that? That would be helpful.
It's been a struggle to keep up without being able to. I'd like to think I can read that from over here, but who am I kidding?
Well, I was getting weird looks.
This is much better.
Okay, sorry about that. All right, so do you have any questions? Because that was a lot of information. Y'all were flying blind there for a few minutes.
You back up a slide or two and just.
Well, this is the first. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Whoops. Oh, there you go. Okay. Do you want me to start over?
Kind of.
Okay. All right. So
all of it.
What's the slide previous to this one? Is it the graph? Is it the table?
We're on the current policy right here.
I'm just looking at a note that we got from you guys, but it's not the slide deck. It's just a red line of the policy. So was there just a table up there with the grade and the grade point based on your grade? Is that part of your
Yes, sir,
slide? Is that coming up? That's
Yes,
the next one.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Yeah, that's coming.
Got
So
you.
quickly, I'll just refresh what I just got finished saying. So there are two GPA systems for high school students. There is an overall GPA system where every course that a student takes in high school for high school credit, whether it be virtual, summer school, taking in junior high for high school credit, during the school day, normal courses all count towards an overall GPA. That's one system. EIC local pertains to our class ranking policy, which is how we rank students and determine the highest ranking graduate and the top 10%. Our current system, which I'll get into in much greater detail here with the corresponding table, shows that we have a 6.0 scale and a 5.0 scale, and that classes are assigned to different courses, to different categories within that scale. There's an honors and there's a regular. Okay? Any questions on that? Okay. And so just to reiterate, we did send out a thought exchange, and the top 3 thoughts from the community were that we include a system that has dual credit courses counting, that we develop a system that provides more weight to the most rigorous courses, and that we create a system that's easy for parents and students to understand. Everybody good? Okay, so current policy. So all of our current classes that a student takes during the regular high school session counts towards class rank with a few exceptions. The regular school session is defined as courses taken during the school day in the fall and spring. So by doing so, that excludes virtual courses, summer school courses, correspondence courses, things like that. Also, we also exclude student aid courses and dual credit courses in our current policy. All right. So the classes that are not excluded are eligible fall into 2 different categories. There's an honors course, honors bucket, and a regular bucket. The honors courses are on a 6.0 scale, and that includes all of our eligible AP, IB, and advanced courses. The regular courses are on a 5.0 scale, and that includes pretty much every other course that we have to offer. So you can see that we have a 6.0 scale and a 5.0 scale going at the same time. It can be a little bit hard to decipher what's a good GPA, because in theory you can make 100 on in all these 4.0 and all these 5.0 courses and never achieve that anything more than a 5. So it's kind of hard to determine what's a good score and what's not. How do you calculate the information and so forth and so on. So this table, which is straight from board policy, shows how we get those scores. So, and I just included just a small snippet, but it goes from 100 down to 69. And basically what you'll see is that there's always a 1-point differential between an honors course and a regular course down from 100 to a 70. So If I make a 99 in an honors course, I get a GPA, a ranking GPA of 5.9 for that course. That same 99 in a regular course gives me a 4.9 GPA. Does that make sense? Okay. So, with that in mind, we wanted to propose a couple of changes. And in doing so, there were 3 goals that we wanted to accomplish. First, and Dr. Bullock sent this out to parents last week, or a couple weeks ago, that we want to create flexibility so that students can participate in extracurricular activities as well as take courses of interest without it negatively impacting their GPA, their ranking GPA. We want to incorporate dual credit courses into the new system, and we also want to develop a system that's easy to understand and calculate. So that first bullet talks about creating flexibility. So that would allow students to take a course that they might be interested in, like a welding or a floral design, things like that, without hurting their ranking GPA. Because currently that's what happens. A student might be really interested in welding class, but they might be number 1 or 2 in the class. And if they take that welding class, it actually might hurt their rank by doing so. We want to eliminate that as a possible problem with the students. Okay? So our 2 proposals changes are as such, and this would be for the class of 2029. This would be next year's freshmen, this year's current 8th graders. That first, we moved to a 100-point scale. We feel that 100-point scale is easy to understand. Parents are used to it. Students are used to it. That's kind of how we do business in the school system. All right, that's the first. So instead of getting 5.1, 4.7 GPAs, now you're getting 98, 96, 92, so forth and so on. That's easier to understand what a good GPA might be. And the second is shift to a 4-tier system of course designation with only certain courses counting towards ranking GPA. Again, go back to that flexibility part. I'll go into that here in just a second. So the 4-tier system basically would be comprised of all of your 4 cores and your world language courses that would count towards ranking GPA. Along with that, all eligible AP, IB, advanced, dual credit, and UT on-ramps courses would also count towards ranking GPA. Anything that's not in those categories would not count towards ranking GPA. So the student could take those courses without fear of hurting their ranking GPA. All right? So the 4-tier system we would assign additional points to each tier, and every course is assigned to a tier. So tier 1 would be all your what we call regular courses. So think Algebra 1, English 1, World History, things like that. Those would be a tier 1 course and would not receive any additional weighted points for class ranking. All right. Tier 2 is 3 points will be added to the ranking GPA, and that would include most of our advanced courses and a couple of designated dual credit courses, which I'll go to in just a minute, why there's 2 of them. Tier 3 would have 6 points added to the ranking GPA, and that would include the vast majority of our dual credit courses, UT on-ramps courses, and eligible AP and IB courses. And then Tier 4 would have 12 points added to the ranking GPA, and that would include pretty much all of our AP and IB courses and 1 advanced course. So you're probably wondering, why are there different categories and different tiers? All right, so if you look at Tier 2, there are dual credits listed in Tier 2 and Tier 3. So the reason being is that next year we have a couple new courses that will include a pretty large remediation portion of the course. And so the students will get 3 hours of college credit instead of the usual 6. So we felt that course is not on the same level as a normal dual credit course that will receive 6 hours of college credit without the remediation. All right, so that's one example. And then we have advanced courses in Tier 2 as well as Tier 4. There is 1 advanced course that is in Tier 4, and it's advanced pre-calculus. And that is for the sole reason is that course is a key component of the IB diploma program. And so we don't want to develop a system that negatively impacts IB diploma students from participating in the class ranking process. Any questions on that? So the following here is a sample schedule that you might see next year, or I guess in 3 years for the class of 2029. So this is a junior level schedule, and what you'll see here is that there are 7 classes that you would see in a normal junior schedule. So this student is in physics, on level physics. That's a Tier 1 course. They received a 90 on their transcript, and since it's Tier 1, there are no additional points added. So that ranking GPA for that class is a 90. You'll see that they are also in advanced Advanced Spanish 3 course, which is a Tier 2 course. And because of that, they get 3 additional points, which gives them a total of 95 on their ranking GPA for that course. And you can go down the list. And you'll see actually there's an IB history course where they got a 90, but because that's Tier 4, they get 12 points. Actually, they have 102 on their ranking GPA. And the cool part about this is that you'll see there's 2 classes at the bottom where they made 188 for extracurriculars and an elective course. While those courses are listed on their transcript, they would not count towards ranking GPA, and thus not negatively impacting their ranking GPA.
So is the GPA then just an average of all your courses?
Yes, sir. So basically how it will work is all the classes that count towards ranking GPA, you basically just add them all up, and yeah, it's just an average.
Yeah, and it's an average of the semester averages.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So each student is required to take the 4 core courses every semester. So they're going to have at least 4 classes in their ranking?
Typically, when they take world language, they would have 5.
They'd have 5 typically.
Now, juniors could take 7, they can take 4. It just kind of depends. But you'll see up there that if I take 4 classes and have a 95 average, and you take 7 and have a 95 average, we have the same GPA. So there's the possibility of a benefit of taking extra classes, but there's no guarantee. In the old system, there is a guarantee.
And are we doing anything different on student accountability, where right now students can go retake tests ad nauseum to raise their grade? Is there any accountability for that in any of these classes?
Well, that wouldn't be a part of the EIC local, but that'd be more part of our course grade requirements. But yes, sir, we can take a look at that for sure.
I have a question. CTE, how do those courses layer in here?
So they would be counted as general electives, and they would not count towards ranking GPA, as you see in the example here. So what we're hoping and what we're expecting is that more kids will take CTE courses because it will not impact their class rank whatsoever.
Okay.
So what would be really great to see is a valedictorian or a top 10 kid taking all these advanced courses and taking welding or floral design or medical terminology, something like that, because they might want to do that later on down the road. You just never know.
Cool.
So we expect an increase in CTE enrollment.
Good. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So how do you determine, if you have a dual credit course, which tier it goes in?
Yep. I'll get that in just a second.
Oh, okay.
So next steps. So if approved, and this would be more of a July thing, we would communicate with parents and students about the incoming freshmen, about the ability to change courses if they so choose with the new system in mind. And then to answer your question, Mr. Blazer, we would include the tier system within the course catalog. And so our current course catalog is divided up by each subject area. We would have a master area that would explain this process. And then within each content, there's a table, and it would identify every course by tier. And then also in the course description, it would say this is a Tier 1 course, this is a Tier 2 course, and it would have the GPA points at times assigned to it. So it'd be listed 3 times in the course catalog, so it'd be kind of hard to miss.
Well, so if you had and I'm just going to make something up, if you had a dual credit math and you had a dual credit English, one might be one tier, one might be the other. Maybe those are bad examples.
Only if they were in the remedial course. There are a very small number of exceptions. I think there's 4 courses that are actually off tier right now. So it's a very small number of courses.
So the lion's share of dual credit go in one tier.
It's tier, yes, sir. Yes,
and the lion's share of AP and
tier
all the
4,
others
yes,
go
sir.
in one tier.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Like 99% of them, yes, sir.
Right.
And so what we're doing is not, there are districts with similar systems. So every district listed, and trust me, there are numerous more. These are some kind of the ones that y'all might recognize. They either use a 100-point scale or they use a tier system or a combination of both, which is what we're trying to do. Actually, I think Tomball, which is not listed, Tomball's listed. They actually use a 100-point scale for theirs, but they don't have a tier system. Theirs is a little bit different. But that's the beauty of EIC local, is that every district can make their own policy. So ours is kind of a combination of numerous other districts that's out there.
So you kind of looked at what these guys did and plucked out the best of all of it.
We studied a wide array of districts, and ones that would be high performing, Eanes ISD, which is Lake Travis, Frisco, Prosper, Carroll, places like that, Highland Park, Conroe, Tomball, places like that, just to kind of see what is everybody else doing, and we have a pretty good idea of what the rest of the state's doing. Yes, sir. Any questions on the proposed changes? Okay. Dr. King?
So I think Dr. Garza has done the heavy lifting, explains sort of the ins and outs of most of this. So my job is just to sort of, again, just really summarize just some of the, I guess, the highlights that will come in a new policy. And again, this won't be, so we'll have, if approved, we'll have a freshman class that is operating under one policy, and your sophomore, junior, and senior class operating under our current policy. So be a little wonky there for a while, but it'll even out after those kiddos graduate. But I just noted some just some highlights. So stuff that we've kind of already gone through. Here will be the exclusions if our a policy is revised and approved. And so really nothing up there. It's mostly what's excluded from the exclusions now. And just to highlight what Dr. Garza said is that there's no more dual credit on the exclusion list. So just to reiterate again, whereas now dual credit is not calculated in your class rank GPA, or it doesn't carry any weight, it will now, and it'll be on its own tier. Those are the exclusions for the revised policy. Again, this is the exact language that will be in the new policy. I think you guys got this through email. It's all the blue stuff is all the new information, but this is the exact language. So again, just to reiterate something that Dr. Garza has really already explained pretty well. So you've got the 4 tiers and the eligible courses there. And we'll go with eligible and continue with that language because things can change from year to year. It does give us a little bit of a flexibility to not have to ask for a policy change every time we have maybe a new course that's introduced or something like that. We can note it in the course selection guide and continue moving forward. And then again, what it will look like in our policy, right there. It'll be a simple chart, hopefully easy to read for folks. That's kind of one of the goals. Is you saw in our current policy, you've got this long chart. I think it goes across a couple of pages, and it's got all your 6-point, and it goes all the way down. It's kind of difficult to just sort of make sense of. This should make it pretty easy when you look at it, and you just kind of go, I'm taking a tier 4 course. I'll get 12 additional points added to my final grade there. So this is what it will look like in policy. So that's just a highlight to the revisions. You also noticed, and I didn't put it in the slide, but we did change Alpha to Todd Stevens, and so noted those changes to get us current with a new name of a new campus there. So that will also go into this policy again if approved. So we didn't have there's no action needed today. This is all for review. It's something we wanted you to hear about, think over, ask questions, and then we will bring it back to you guys in a later board meeting, probably in July. So any further questions or final questions?
So when the current 8th graders have already kind of done a preliminary schedule, will they be given an opportunity now to go back and revisit their decisions that they made based on the tier 1, 2, 3, and 4?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes. And going into 9th grade, so when you kind of have a 4-core and foreign language system, when you go into a freshman, you don't have as much flexibility in your schedule like a junior or senior would. So you're essentially going to only be able to take a 4-core foreign language, and you've got your 2 electives at that point. So we wouldn't see a ton of changes, but there might be some kids that see this kind of weighted system and decide, hey, maybe I'll go take a different kind of elective or challenge myself in an advanced course or something along those lines. But they'll have an opportunity to revise. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. Oh, sorry. So the thought share to the parents, I would imagine teachers were also part of that, or were they, if they are a parent in the district? But I was just wondering the overall feedback from our teachers, especially high school, like with this shift, overall favorable?
I don't know. Denise, we include teachers. Now, we mostly ask parents. That was where most, I think, if we want to call them concerns or feedback and input had been given to us, particularly on the dual credit end. Mm-hmm. My hope would be that teachers would be happy with this and in favor of it, especially if it drives a little bit more participation in some of your elective and CTE courses. Because I have a feeling that there are some kiddos who elect not to take some of those courses just because they feel like they're not going to be able to keep up in the GPA race, so to speak, if they take a course that's not weighted.
It's a good question, Ms. Hunt. We did involve the high school principals, associate principals, and the advanced academic deans from our 2 comprehensive high schools in order to have the view of kind of how things are playing out on campus and what they are seeing, and course selections from kids and master schedules and rigor of courses and that kind of stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, I look at this and I see it should be a good benefit for some of the kids that are really academically disciplined to participate in some more creative programs, which I think is really important in growing young adults. But curious, do we also think it's going to drive some kids that normally would have kind of been on the fence into some of these more advanced programs to really booster programs like IB, where we've had limited participation last, like we could see a need to have more teachers in that space even?
That's a hope. I mean, as many kids as we can get who challenge themselves and take rigorous courses, the better off I think our district will be. So that would be the hope there, that it would drive more participation as well. Other questions?
So this looks like a great improvement. I wondered, based on the thought exchange as well as what you guys put into it to make these changes, are there any concerns or anything that makes you a little uncertain about anything at all? Any uncertainties that you have going into it?
I mean, I don't feel...
Not really. Honestly, what the thought exchange said was basically what we kind of expected about having dual credit, counting and having more courses, having the highest, most difficult courses getting the highest rank. Like I said, we studied a lot of other districts, so people are already doing this and have success with it, so we're not super concerned about things. I am curious to see what the enrollment will be like in dual credit and fine arts courses going forward. Hopefully we see quite a boom there. That's the goal, and that's what should happen here, is that because kids now have flexibility without kind of fear of losing the race, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I agree, Dr. Garza. I mean, ideally, out of something like this, you would see an increase in dual credit enrollment, but not at the expense of AP and IB. If we're just moving kids from one advanced bucket to another, I don't think we're really, putting the best foot forward, or really what I would hope. I would hope that, a larger percentage of our high school kids decide to challenge themselves.
Yeah, and also I mentioned that there are a couple of dual credit courses on that tier 2, and those are kind of what we call because I mentioned there's some remediation involved in that. That's going to bring a whole new set of students in dual credit that have never had access to it before. So we've already had classes. We're looking at maybe 4 or 5 sections between the 2 high schools, which is about 150 kids between the 2 schools being more involved with dual credit. That in of itself is a huge win right there.
Because I know in the past, dual credit, I guess the concern was we don't have control over the quality of instruction. And so, but now we're still not, like you said, not putting it up for AB and AP and IB are. So. Correct.
Yes,
I think the quality of instruction, I think, is something that on the campus level you have a little bit more control over. It's the curriculum and the syllabus that you may not have as much control.
Additional questions?
Good stuff.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I would just say on the EIC local, if you guys as board members have questions, you know where to find Dr. Garza, Dr. King, or myself, and we would look to address any of those concerns, or potentially shift course a little bit, but look to potentially bring a policy back for a vote to you guys in July heading into the next school year.
That's not going to slow you down, the fact it's July versus...
No, sir. No, sir. I think we'd be ready to roll.
Okay. What else? Good. All right. Everybody good? All right. The board's now going to recess and move into closed executive session for the purposes permitted by A, pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.076, discuss summary of findings from recent detection audits. B, consultation with attorney, pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.071. C, pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.074, personnel discussion and recommendations. And D, pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.072, discussion of purchase, sale, exchange, or value of real property. So thank you very much for tonight. Okay, we're back. All right, so We're back. It's now time for us to reorganize the board, and so the floor is open for nominations for board president, vice president, secretary, and assistant secretary.
I'd like to make a motion that we maintain the officers in their current positions for continuity and because they all, I think, are good at what they do. So, I don't know if anybody else has another motion, but I'd like to motion for that.
Okay, thank you. Then if there's no other comments, then we'll make a formal motion that the Magnolia ISD Board of Trustees approve the following officer positions. President, Gary Blizzard. Vice President, Dasha Owens. Secretary, Sonia Ebel. And Assistant Secretary, Stacia Norris. Motion by Jay, seconded by Jordan. All in favor? That motion passes. Thank you. Now we need a motion to adjourn this meeting. Motion by Jay, seconded by Sonia. All in favor? Motion passes. It's 10:52.